A couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Blockchain Dynamic Show.
Hello, welcome. Hope everybody's doing all right out there.
My name is Brandon Doge.
And I'm Woody.
We're chilling here. It is Sunday, April 29th, 2018.
Episode number 92.
That's right.
And the content is presented for entertainment purposes only. It's not financial advice.
It's true. We've had some echo. We're working on the echo. We're trying a new fix today.
I bet it's going to work. We got it.
We're hoping today's the day, right? But yeah, thanks for bearing with us on that issue.
We do have another Arionium giveaway today, about halfway through the show. Another 1,000 ARO, thanks to CryptoBwan.
These ARO, man, they just don't quit.
Make sure you check out his Altcoin Notify and Shitcoin Notify accounts on Twitter that can help you keep track of when coins are getting listed.
As far as the trivia for last week, the question that we had was, what was the date of Not So Fast's 7th time on our show? The answer to that, of course, is Sunday, April 23rd, 2017. So kudos to the person who got that.
Yep, nice work.
And with that, I think we're going to jump right into the news. Let's do it.
All right. At the top of the list this week, we thought we would take a look at two different Ethereum exploits that occurred during this week.
Yeah, I didn't see as much in the blockchain attacks news this week, but there were some exploits, some smart contract exploits this week.
So the first one was the My Ether wallet redirect.
That's right. This is more of an old school one, I guess. Some people were able to hack the DNS servers for My Ether wallet so that when some people would go to the site, they would get sent to a fake phishing site instead.
Yep. It sounds like some people definitely lost some money, and it definitely sucks that they did, but they had to probably bypass some of the basic browser security to get to that point, which is a bummer too. And I guess lesson learned for a lot of people probably. It's
understandable. I don't think most people check or take their security certificates very seriously or are looking at that kind of stuff on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's just one of those additional things that you have to think about in crypto, especially if you're dealing with an online wallet or anything that has that private key information. You're going to want to think to be a little more careful about the certificates. This is really the only takeaway you can take from this. But yeah, it is really unfortunate for the people that did lose on it.
Well, and also one other takeaway would be that in the case of My Ether wallet, for people that are going to be accessing a lot or want to not have to verify that certificate necessarily every time, they could probably run a local version, or at least running a local version is a safer way to go no matter what.
Yeah, and you don't even have to run a local version of a full client. You don't have to do a full blockchain or anything. There are light clients that run locally and will eliminate that risk that you have there.
So that happened, and then the other interesting one was this buffer overflow bug that somebody uncovered.
This is the more interesting one for the week. This is like a little more in the weeds of the smart contract stuff, I feel like. But it's a bug in the smart contract. It's just on some tokens that have this, right?
That's right. It was just a handful. And two of the hardest hit looks like they were Beauty Chain and Smart Mesh. But through, a fairly, I guess what the people that discovered it it's a relatively simple exploit. The people were able to print a lot of tokens, 63 zeros worth of tokens.
Yeah, it's an occurrence of what's a fairly common bug in coding in terms of like integer overflows and that kind of stuff. So it's the sort of thing where you can say they should have known better, but it's also the sort of thing that happens in code, but the stakes are way higher, obviously, in this case. And as you can see in this case, it was really a... Did they get away with the money in this case? Do you know what the outcome was?
Not specifically. I mean, I know that there was exchanges for Beauty Chain, and they shut it down at some point, but the extent of the damage I have no idea about. Some other exchanges closed down Ethereum tokens temporarily to sort of assess the situation and make sure they weren't running any that had that vulnerability,
right,
and then reopened as well.
Really, the funny thing about this, the number of coins that they generated was in the vigintillions.
That's a lot.
It's a large number. So I guess the the dream of being a vigilantillionaire is still alive, thanks to smart contract exploits.
Yeah. And just, we like to cover this stuff because there just seems to be a never-ending stream of exploits available for cryptocurrencies in general, Ethereum specifically.
Right, they were even
It's all
joking
there.
about it. The security company that found it was even kind of joking about the large number of exploits that come out of Ethereum.
Yeah.
The thing that you expect over time is that you would have kind of like a continually expanding base of sort of safe or trusted code, that people could build libraries out of and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure, yeah, it improves over time. I mean, same way that operating systems do in a certain way, right?
But what we're also seeing is that that's happening, appears to be happening at a pretty slow rate when you consider the number of developers that are in Ethereum. But it's also, there's such a wide number of projects out there that on the flip side of that, if there's hundreds and hundreds of projects out there, the probability of one of them having a ridiculous exploit is high,
Well, when it comes to any software, developers have trouble staying ahead of exploiters in terms of updating their software and being ahead of that stuff,
Right. The MEW hack had nothing to do with Ethereum. That's a DNS. That's like old school stuff.
Yeah, sure. It does. So anyway, let's
happening.
go on to another piece here. This was kind of more of a drama piece, but we thought we'd touch on it because
Gotta
it seemed
cover
like
it
it
a
was a
little
big
bit.
deal on Twitter. There was a pump group sort of dialogue leak. I kind of skimmed it. It was actually a little too long for me to check out all of it, but
Yeah, it was like hundreds of screenshots of
it was kind of sad. I was kind of
Discord or
disappointed.
something.
It was disappointing, is what I mean, more than sad.
Right. There's a few takes that people are having on it. There's like the kind of the people who are sympathizing, especially with the person that posted it, that it's more of like it's like a blowing the lid off crypto type thing. Like, oh, look at what's really happening behind the scenes in crypto, And to the extent, I think that's good for people to see to an extent because this kind of stuff is incredibly common, obviously. Like, it's the nature of the markets, right? All markets are exploited to some extent or manipulated to some extent. And crypto markets are especially vulnerable to it for many reasons. And so it's like there's layers of it happening all the time in all kinds of different markets. There's people like this who maybe are doing it in a more haphazard way or like a confusing way, I guess, in some instances, There's people that are incredibly good at it and are doing it in a way that is so smooth and professional that it wouldn't even be probably considered illegal, right? And that you can go from that extreme to kind of like the preposterously, like the cartoon villain version of it, where they're just really trying to get one over on people. This kind of manipulation activity is happening at every extreme that you could imagine.
Right. Yeah, and when it comes to people kind of talking about intentionally, artificially inflating the prices of assets, then it becomes so blatant that it's in some type of court setting. It'd be so easy to point at that as their attempt to manipulate the market. And I guess what I found disappointing is that inside of that log, it seemed like they were kind of just picking good coins to invest in and then trying to invest in them as a group.
Right.
And in the meantime, talking about this manipulation that just totally didn't need to be in the mix of it at all. I guess that's why I was disappointed.
Yeah, really, that's a great point. Essentially, the funniest thing about this entire pump group leak is if the only thing that these people had tried to do was to get some money together and buy Haven so that they could have Haven, then that would have probably been like a legitimately good like trading strategy. Nobody would have been sour about it.
Right.
But instead, that's essentially what they did do. But what they thought they were doing was manipulating the market, and then so it just makes them look like fools when they could have essentially taken the straightforward, honest approach and probably had the same or better gains from it.
Right.
So it's out there. This is the kind of stuff that's happening. Sometimes it's like somebody gets a number of Bitcoin in their account or whatever. They look at some of these order books and they're like, like, oh my gosh, I could totally manipulate this market or something. Look how much money I have. But the majority of the interest is off the books, and you just end up kind of pissing in the wind a little bit.
For sure. We have another small segment we're going to see if we can keep going here that we're calling CZ Around the World.
CZ Around the World. It's tough to keep up with CZ, and we feel it's our duty here.
Yeah, we figure why not?
Blockchain Dynamics
See
to
where
keep you caught up on what CZ is up to.
So this week he was in Uganda and Bermuda.
That's right. CZ in Uganda. The big thing here is he's trying to build relationships with governments for Binance, basically, it seems like.
Yep. Binance has grown so quickly. One article I saw in here reminded me that, 8 months ago they didn't even exist. And now they're reporting a profit of like $1 billion or something absurd like that.
It's out of control. You always have to be careful, as always, with anything that doesn't have the history or the reputation. But as far as what's happening with here, you got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and it was fun to see him in those Bermuda shorts, of course, next to the people with suits. I think
the Bermuda
that was
shorts
pretty
thing
enjoyable.
was great.
Yeah,
I like the Bermuda shorts thing. I like that everyone's embracing it. People are like, "Oh, you didn't know that people wear shorts with suit jackets in Bermuda?" It's like, no, well, I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Well, you can certainly tell that the Bermudans were enjoying it.
Right. Yep.
So, very
One thing
good.
I have to feel like is if you're already at the point where you're like, you know what, it's way too hot to wear a suit. Let's throw some shorts on.
Absolutely.
You think they might just maybe drop the jacket and at that point drop the rest of the suit, toss a Hawaiian shirt on there, just get past it, get over it.
Maybe just a tie and some shorts.
Yeah, there you go. No shirt, a tie, and some shorts. That's the new Bermuda look, man. I'm sure of it.
One other kind of interesting news piece that we thought we'd throw in here is that Bismuth is implementing an idea they got from Arionium.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. It's been reported on quite a bit, but we thought it was interesting.
Definitely love to see that type of collaboration or idea sharing.
That's just the beauty of the whole open source nature of some of what's going on in the crypto scene. It reflects well on the Bismuth dev to be out there looking for ideas, and it reflects well on the Arionium crew to have ideas that people are interested in copying, and it's just something that you like to see.
And with that, I think we'll move into talking about markets this week.
That's right, markets. It seems like alts for me felt like they were really crazy earlier in the week, but some of my alts started to tail off, I think, in the last couple of days.
Yeah, definitely. Everything is pretty green overall, but I think maybe people got nervous about what Bitcoin was capable of there near the end of the week or something.
Yeah, I guess Bitcoin's been super bullish, hasn't it? Everyone's like, it's flirting with that 10K thing, confusing everybody.
Yeah.
Obvious choice, pump of the week. Got to throw it up to EOS.
Yeah, awesome.
They're just been going bananas.
Awesome chart. And then Primecoin as well blasted off on that another fork rumor.
It's incredible how many times you can just keep pulling the same lever and it just keeps working.
Right.
But yep. So Primecoin, the news there is that it's like the Z Classic to Bitcoin private fork. The same guys doing the same thing, but with Primecoin and Bitcoin again. So it's another snapshot where you get Primecoin and Bitcoin. So it's like piggybacking off of the Bitcoin market cap to try and inflate the price of Primecoin. It's like an interesting, one of those interesting, like almost parasitic trading strategies that people use in altcoins, I feel like.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I wouldn't expect much better results than the Bitcoin private thing had, I guess, right?
Yeah, you expect each iteration to have less results, but the Bitcoin private, I mean, it obviously went really well for everybody that tried to buy into it for that thing, except for the people who held the Z Classic after the after the snapshot. So it's one of those things. It's just like they're gonna try the same thing again, and it'll keep happening until it stops working. It's like the masternode pre-sales. We still get 50 of them every week because apparently somebody is still buying into them.
Yep, right. So let's see. Good old Bitcoin, Big Papa Bitcoin is up $380 since our last show.
That's right. We got 93.38 for the price of Bitcoin on our snapshot here.
Change of about 4.25%.
As far as Ethereum goes, chilling at around $680, up $40 this week. That's a 6% gain, so outperforming Bitcoin again this week, but not as dramatically as last week. They're both up this week, but nowhere near the gains from last week.
Right. Altcoins in general doing pretty good. Out of the top 300 on CoinMarketCap.com, 218 of them up versus US dollar, and 179 up versus Bitcoin. So a little over half doing well, in my opinion. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's the same pattern that we see usually. Sometimes if fewer altcoins are gaining versus Bitcoin, alts overall will still gain versus Bitcoin because the winners tend to gain more than the losers. We saw that again this week. The average gain for the altcoins versus Bitcoin this week was about 10.6%. So actually this is like the third week in a row now where we've had Bitcoin going up with altcoins overperforming Bitcoin.
Right. And just in terms of maybe usually one or two altcoins having a really good week, pulling that number upwards.
Yep, definitely.
This week, Z Classic was up again, 271%.
Yeah, Z Classic came in at the top of our gainers count here. Once again, we're just looking at the top 300 for these.
Yep. And then second place was Primecoin.
Of course.
And then
TrueChain, Mixin, a lot of tokens I haven't heard of.
Eternity I recognize but don't know much about.
Gifto. I'm surprised EOS isn't on this list. I wonder what their percent was this week.
Maybe it's just been such a steady rise that this week wasn't so massive or something.
You get more volatility out of the lower caps, so usually you don't see the biggest gainers or losers in the top 50, Yeah. Sometimes. As far as losers this week, Game.com, that was one that was up last week, dumped this week. Down 47%. We got Bitcoin Private down 38%. Bitcore down 31%.
District 0x down 21%.
So it looks like a kind of a mixed week for the market. Some gainers, some losers, but overall, it seems like the winners overshadowed it.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it seems like the volume just kind of shifts around to coins right now. Nothing too explosive, but maybe EOS is. And there's other coins out there that have been pretty explosive, honestly. But in general, you can expect some volume to kind of be shifting around to all these coins. It feels like right now.
I'm still waiting for a Bitcoin, like a big Bitcoin retrace week, like 10, 15% Bitcoin loss week.
Yeah, you're waiting to see how the alts react to that. Yeah,
because we've had 3 weeks in a row now where alts overperform Bitcoin. It's not totally surprising considering how many weeks prior to that they had been crashing with Bitcoin.
Right.
But you do have to expect that dynamic to change. The kind of the bull market normal that we got used to last year was when Bitcoin goes up, alts gain in market cap but lose versus Bitcoin. And we're still seeing alts gain versus Bitcoin for 3 weeks in a row. So
yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, at some point it always shifts, right?
Yeah, and so I guess the indicator for me, the catalyst for that, or at least just kind of what I'm going to be curious to see is how the alts market react when we get a big bear week on Bitcoin.
That will be interesting.
But until now, there's nothing not to like about Bitcoins and alts going up, man.
Oh yeah, it's nice to have alts not catastrophically failing while Bitcoin goes up. That's very nice.
It is. It's a beautiful thing. I think that is going to wrap it up there for the markets.
And I think next we'll do our trivia question.
Trivia time.
This is for our live listeners. If you're new, basically the idea is we ask a trivia question, and the first person to tweet at Chain Dynamics with the correct answer wins the 1,000 Arionium.
That's right. You got to tweet it to us during the live show. If nobody gets it during the live broadcast, then we just carry the prize over to next week.
Yeah, so this week the question is, what DAG-based coin was distributed in 10 rounds of airdrop?
That's right. That question again. What DAG-based coin was distributed in 10 rounds of airdrop? You're going to tweet that over to @ChainDynamics and get yourself some Arionium.
All right. Next up, we're going to take a look at a couple coin projects.
That's right. We got a couple of project requests this week in from Twitter. One was for IPBC and the other was for DERO. So we thought we'd take a look at those. IPBC we've been wanting to check out anyway, but DERO was not really on our radar. So it's going to be exciting to check that out.
Looks like we got a winner.
We got it. Nice.
Looks like it's Crypto Man Bear this time by 1 second.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Congrats. We'll get at you after the show.
You might want to refresh the browser, make sure that the times line up,
Yep, I'm certain.
All right, we got it. Kudos to you, Crypto Man Bear. You got it. The answer to that, what was the answer?
Byteball.
Byteball, that's right.
Yep, very cool coin distributed initially in those 10 rounds of airdrop. And
it was a Bitcoin snapshot based airdrop, I think.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do a contract, right? It was a by default type thing.
I
didn't actually ever follow through with it.
It's the answer to the question. Onward
That's
go.
what we know. Moving forward.
IPBC is the Interplanetary Broadcast Coin.
Interplanetary blockchain?
Broadcast coin.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh,
you're right. So this is a new take on the sort of a file hosting, video sharing type of crypto coin.
Yeah, certainly not a brand new idea, right?
No, I think for me, the two obvious coins that I have to compare it back to would be that, you remember TrollPay?
From last year.
PureVids. I think those both were from last year.
Yeah.
They both got huge pumps, but basically the idea is you had a coin and you got paid the coin for hosting content on their content portal.
Yep, and one of the kind of nice, interesting differences on IPBC, it would seem, is that the reward system is based on having the viewer provide mining power to the network in browser as they view content.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice new kind of take on the approach to monetizing it. You got a browser running in your miner. You're essentially consenting to having your browser be used for CPU mining of IPBC while you are watching the content. So it's like you're streaming a 20-minute video. They're going to mine IPBC for 20 minutes on your browser. And then the content provider, the person who threw the video up, is the person that gets those coins.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about that right off the bat, but it's a cool idea. Like, basically, my mixed feeling is rooted in the sense that recently so many websites have been secretly mining stuff, and my mind just goes to that type of behavior. But this seems to be pretty straightforward in that regard. Like,
you'd rather not be mining with your browser at all, essentially.
Most of the time, yeah.
So what would be the alternative, I guess?
Well, one thing that we had talked about we don't quite know what the incentive is for people to buy IPBC.
Right.
And if I was able to pay in IPBC rather than have my browser be used to mine, that might be kind of one alternative.
Oh, okay. I get you. I'm with you. That makes sense.
But I don't see any evidence that that's what's going on. You had said that there was they were working towards maybe having the user get some of the coins as well or something like that.
I think that might have been a fork of it or something.
Yeah.
That might have been something different. I don't remember. As far as the platform itself, we did check it out. The website that they have is IPBC.io, and it's a really familiar type of content portal. You know, people are just uploading videos. It's the type of videos that you would expect people to upload if they could upload whatever they want.
A lot of twerking videos on there for some reason. Seems to be really popular.
There must be a filter or something, right? So maybe that's like as far as they can get away with without hitting the filter or something. I don't know.
So one thing in relation, comparing it to those other coins we mentioned that have tried similar things, is kind of what are the centralization points? And the website itself becomes a massive one in this case.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself, how accessible is this entire service if the website, for whatever reason, was to get shut down or no longer be operational or something like that, you know? Like, what's the continuity of the blockchain beyond that website? Because we saw in the case of both PureVids and TrollPay, the websites ended up going down, and that was basically, as far as those coins went, that was kind of the beginning of the end.
Right.
And so the big breakthrough, I think, for IPBC is going to come with, is it going to be something more like Steam, where you can access potentially the content through any type of portal, like it doesn't have to be just through their website, or is the content totally dependent on them continuing to have that portal going?
Yep, exactly. Steam's a good example of one of those content systems that has managed to at least get people to experiment with creating alternative portals into it that could defend it in the case of that particular one portal going down.
As far as the coin itself, it's a crypto note algorithm coin, which is really interesting. We've seen a really recent resurgence in crypto note forks that are just at a higher level of development. We had crypto note forks for like years that were all just generic clones of either Bytecoin or Monero. And now we're seeing a few come out. Haven is an example, an obvious example, but also IPBC of new coins that are coming out. And they're doing the whole services type blockchain thing, but they're using the crypto note platform underneath it, which is new because if this coin launched last year or 2 years ago, I guarantee you it's a something that came from Litecoin or Bitcoin.
So cool. They have some pretty simple-looking features that we didn't try out on there, such as sharing your desktop through their website platform and things like that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. They're clearly trying to push in a lot of directions as far as trying to offer utility for it. I think the final question that we had for it, and that the one thing that we really didn't understand about the economic model, I guess, for the whole coin is what's the incentive for the buyer supposed to be?
Right, exactly. Doesn't seem like they have anything to spend the IPBC on.
Right, exactly. You get IPBC if you're a content provider. You get paid in IPBC, and miners get paid in IPBC. So you obviously have the two obvious points of downward pressure on the market, I guess. So what's the purpose of people buying IPBC? Which you could say that about a lot of different coins.
Of course. And it could be changed in the future too. But that's kind of what we were looking at.
As far as the level of development on the coin, it's obviously really high, at least for the time being. So,
yeah.
With that big kind of question that we had hanging over it about the centralization point with the website, obviously if they can get past that, I think that definitely it would be a breakthrough as far as this type of coin.
Cool. And so the other coin that we were going to take a look at in our little coin project section here is DERO.
DERO. This is another coin came out when we were on our hiatus. IPBC was too. Came out in, I think DERO was last year.
This one is a crypto note coin written in Golang.
All right, so on that theme of crypto note coins, this is yet another one. But this time they rewrote the whole thing in a new language, which we always like to see, I guess. Just once again shows a higher level of commitment to the project maybe than a straight-up fork would.
Yeah, and for it to eventually get to the points that they're trying to get to, it would indicate a pretty good understanding of the technology that they're creating as well.
Really, the kind of the standout thing about DERO that I really can't ignore is that the roadmap is incredibly aggressive. It's the kind of roadmap that you expect from like a big ICO or something. They're essentially saying that they're going to have the fastest crypto note network in the world, as well as bringing anonymous smart contracts to a crypto note platform.
So where are they at this point?
So essentially, these are some of the biggest goals of the biggest blockchains. Like, we're going to have the transaction speed like Ripple. We're going to have the smart contracts like Ethereum.
Yeah, of course. Those just sound like bold claims, though.
I think they are bold claims, and the reality of where they're at right now is essentially that they have replicated the existing functionality of previous crypto note blockchains, but with their new platform.
Nice.
So it's the basic stuff. It's the stuff that we like, right? Like, you've got it all together. You've got all the basic functionality, the RPC calls, the functioning blockchain, the mining, all the basic pieces that you need to get it working. But as far as going towards the things on their roadmap, those are the things that make it unique, and they're the things that we don't have yet.
Nice. So remains to be seen, I suppose, is kind of the end of that one then, huh? Yeah.
The other thing that I have to question about DERO is the roadmap is incredibly accelerated. It's like Q2 2018, we're going to release the fastest crypto note blockchain in history. Q3 2018, we're going to release the smart contract platform. And for something that has a roadmap that aggressive, they either tend to deliver completely or it's just a total short-term failure, And so with DERO, they're setting a really high mark for themselves. They're putting themselves in an incredibly short timeline as well, so I guess we'll know pretty quickly whether they can actually follow through on it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And I think it got listed on some exchange that we weren't really familiar with, too.
I think it's on TradeOgre also, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. I didn't actually check the exchanges for it. So yeah, that's what's going on with DERO. It's nice to see a coin with this level of development. I always like that kind of stuff, but it really, especially the ground up, like the new language, that kind of stuff. But it really will come down to what they can deliver on going forward.
Yeah. Cool. So that was taking a look at IPBC and DERO, thanks to Twitter's suggestion.
And with that, we're going to hit up the new coins this week.
Woohoo!
Coins are flying off the shelf this week. We had a lot of new coins this week, way more than we've had in the past few. It's exciting stuff.
First up on the list is Domino Coin.
Alrighty, Domino, what's up here?
Looks like you can win a free masternode.
So where does that come from? So it must be a pre-mine. Oh man, this is a pre-sale masternode one. It shouldn't even be in the list. Domino, you're out of here.
Bye-bye.
You're gone.
This one is kind of got a funny thing to it. This is IntuCoin, INTU coin.
IntuCoin, INTU coin.
And the funny part about this is that they copied DERO's roadmap word for word. So that ambitious roadmap that we were just mentioning has been just duplicated word for word without any extra evidence of it being able to be completed in this particular case.
Yeah, this is funny. IntuCoin, it was going to be our crypto note coin of the week. We're like, oh, finally the crypto note coin of the week is back. This is great news. But then we looked at it, and then only because I would never have noticed this if we had not done the segment on DERO just prior, but the roadmap's a carbon copy. It's just a total fake clone. So that's IntuCoin, INTU coin.
Next one is UraniumX.
UraniumX.
This one is trying to be super rare by having only 235,000 coins mined over 70 years.
In addition to the coin itself being super rare, the information about the coin is also super rare because there's no block explorer. There's like no info in the post. It's a super low key one. I guess what's interesting about it is that it's a CPU only coin. I think it's using the algorithm from Arionum.
Oh, interesting.
The Argon. But there's like no info on it. I can't even confirm if it's new. Like because I didn't sync up the client, so I can't even confirm if it actually did come out this week or not. But
because you can't see the block height basically.
Right, but I for CPU only and this kind of super low key thing. If it was on a week where there were hardly any new coins, it's one that I would probably be interested in, just like kind of out of lack of competition. But I feel like
you'd use a VM, right, Brando?
Oh yeah, don't run the wallet. Whatever you do, do not just run one of these wallets, please.
Always be careful. Another coin to take that we are taking a look at is Trittium.
Trittium. I had to point this one out. We've been complaining a lot about the masternode presale coins. There's way too many of them. It's ridiculous.
This one has some very bad statistics.
Yeah. So the idea on Trittium is they're like the shitcoin developers. They're evolving, right? They're like, all right, we're not going to do a presale on this. We're coming clean. This is an honest masternode coin, right? But then the specs are still, they don't make any sense. There's only like 200 blocks of proof of work. You couldn't even get one. If you mined all of the coins, you couldn't get one masternode,
So the only hope of anyone getting a masternode is to buy the coins from the people that had the coins originally.
Exactly. And then they're saying that's not a presale. Come on.
Right. So just always take a look at some of those details if you're looking at new coins.
Yep, they're evolving. Another one this week is Pade, P-A-D-E coin. This is another one that is they're claiming that they're going to solve the problem with all these crappy new masternode coins coming out. And what they're doing is they're going to solve the problem by releasing yet another generic masternode coin, but this time they're going to have slightly less horrible specs on it. With, only 60% of the coins going to the masternodes, Only, a third of it to the developers or whatever. It's a lot. I think it's only like 1 or 2% actually, but
Pre-sale on this one?
I didn't see any pre-sale, but again, a lot of times
they've just found their way around it technically.
Yeah, a lot of times they won't advertise the pre-sale, but then they'll like troll people in private and try and like sell the pre-mines OTC and stuff. Because most of the time, none of the stuff even gets listed anymore, right? So for these guys to dump their pre-mines, a lot of the times they have to just try and dump them on people in Discord. The thing that got me about this one also is that they are claiming that they have a maximum supply when they really don't. That kind of stuff always.
Yeah.
It's always a bad sign. That was P-A-D-E, Pade coin.
All right. This next one was also suggested from Twitter, and it's Quantis.
Quantis coin. Alrighty, what's the deal here? It's just all masternodes, which is frustrating.
Another masternode coin.
It's also got it's a super stacked proof of work reward, right? So the reason you can tell that this probably sucks right away is that first 500 blocks get almost the entire supply distributed, which is not even enough time for miners to tool up or something. Like by the time that you even see that the coin exists and can get a wallet synced up and all that crap, it's like that mining period's over. So it's just another form of doing a huge pre-mine, which they inevitably are probably going to try and sell to people, OTC, and then bail. You know, and if these guys are the people that are doing it legit, but they happen to choose to distribute it the same way as all the scammers, then you got to wonder why they made that choice.
Another coin
that was Quantis.
Is another coin out there is LINC.
LINC, all right. So it's yet another masternode coin, but I will give credit in that this is the least, the best looking one, I guess, that I've seen.
What's the
last couple of weeks?
What's the glimmer of hope you see?
The glimmer of hope. All right, the pre-mine is legitimately really small. It's 1,000 blocks. That's the, I think it's 1,000 blocks. That's the kind of pre-mine that miners. They're not just annihilating the miners. They're in competition with them. The proof of work stage is sufficiently long. It's like 1 million blocks. It's not like incredibly short. And then it does a proof of stake transition. The algorithm is NeoScript, which is pretty normal. Everything else about it that you can verify, like everything else that you're going to see out of the gate, is pretty much going to be standard, right? So it's going to be a masternode fork with essentially more reasonable specs than another one.
That makes sense.
Like another thing, the reward allocation, right? It's 70% for the proof of work. The really shitty ones are going to have like 90% for the masternode. But then again, that doesn't tell you that it's a good coin. It just tells you that it has fewer red flags.
Right.
And as far as the AND post is of a higher quality, they have like a graph of the monetary policy and stuff, just a little bit more effort than we have been seeing. But otherwise, technology-wise, there's nothing new yet. You're saying it's a decentralized data exchange platform. That's the selling point. And they do have, I think they have a small white paper, at least.
All right.
That coin is LINC.
Another coin out there is Pink Star Coin.
Pink Star V2. I think this was going to be my crypto note coin of the week. Another crypto note coin. It's just a fork of Pink Star, and I think that I don't know anything about Pink Star. I mean, that coin
Me neither.
suck too, but at least in this case, they're forking it to a variant of Crypto Night to deal with the ASIC issue.
Ah, of course.
That's what's going on with Pink Star V2.
Well, at least they're dealing with that. Next up is Slatechain.
Keeping them coming, man. We haven't had this many coins to look through in a long time.
Yeah. This one's algo is Lyra 2Z.
That's a GPU mainly.
That's probably one of the safe havens out there for GPU miners still.
One of the last
GPU CPU miners still out there.
Someone's going to be like, actually, there's a Baikel for it.
Yeah, probably.
But as far as I know, it's still a GPU only. This is an old school coin, man. It's a 50,000 block proof of work with a slow start mining. But again, once again, it's still a masternode coin. They're checking all those boxes. There's like nothing else to like about it aside from the fact that the specifications aren't terrible.
They aren't just weighted in the creator's favor some massive way that makes it almost irrelevant who else participates.
Yeah, exactly. It's not totally drowning out the rest of the participation.
Yeah.
What are the features that they talk about here? Stealth mode, that's pretty normal. Energy efficient, that's marginally true, I'm sure. All right. But it looks all right.
Yep.
As far as the new coins go.
Yeah, as far as they go, it doesn't look terrible. Pricecoin is next.
Pricecoin.
Oh, this guy, first off, has to claim that he's 17. That's always really important.
You're really going to need to know that it's 17-year-old.
Yep.
This falls into the category of like a student coin, you know? It's like, oh, I made this coin as a science project for school.
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, these have rarely worked out well. I feel like the
prestigious category, Veltor was one of these, remember that?
Right, yep. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah,
it's just out there. I had to include it because it's not like a...
But with any coin, like if
different.
You're practicing mining or just having fun, as long as you don't manage to somehow overinvest yourself in some brand new coin that has no information about it, it can't hurt too bad.
The coin itself is a script proof of work with no pre-mine and a medium length proof of work. The reward halving is going to be every 18,000 blocks, which that's actually that's a kind of there's a fundamentals problem with that, because if you don't transition to proof of stake after that, if you're having it that speed and you don't have a proof of stake transition, then your chain's going to die. But usually, as often as not, they end up swapping. If the coin is going to continue on, they'll probably do a swap. But
yeah, pretty common nowadays.
Or it just dies. You never know. Obviously, there's no way to know with a science project type coin.
Yeah. Another and final coin I think we're going to take a look at in the new coins category is Etherfact.
That's right. The new coins have been checking all the boxes this week, and this box that they're going with is the Ethereum clone. It's another Ethereum clone. I don't know if there's anything else exciting about it.
Man.
We got the monetary policy. Just checking those boxes.
Not very exciting for me. I mean, for me to get excited about an Ethereum clone at this point, almost somebody would have to come out with a smart contract on it from day one that blew my mind somehow.
Right. Release it with the app all ready to go. It's not a bad idea.
But with this stuff, it's not thrilling me at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you on that, man. It's just a really another generic Ethereum clone. I think maybe, well, let's see, what are they kind of trying to say the hook is here? Well, I don't see too much. I didn't even see if them addressing the ASIC issue right off the bat. All right, well, it's out there.
They forked from Ethereum, yep.
And there you have it. That's our slate of new coins this week. There are quite a lot of them. Going back through, if I'm going to look at anything, I'll probably would revisit LINC, that LINC. I'm old school, so I would consider wasting some money on Slatechain, but I don't see anything like actually to like about it.
Yep, I think I'm probably with you in that regard. I mean, I'm not going to go with any of the like high masternode reward ones right now at all. So
right, yeah,
kind of narrows down the options.
If you're gonna, and if you want to just rule out masternodes altogether, understandably, because they're gone way too far with it, then I think the only thing you're left with is UraniumX, which is something that we actually just have no information about. That's pretty much what you get with coins these days.
Fun times.
But that's it. That's new coins. That's
yep, that's how it is.
That's what you get. And so with that, we will bring it into our listing segment.
Coin listings.
Love to check out the listings.
Binance kind of keeping it up with the weekly listing these days.
What did they do? What did they do this week?
Golem.
Oh, that's right. It just, nothing happens.
It behaved differently than the last two listings, that's for sure.
It's more like their old listings. Like, you go back a couple months, it seems like those listings weren't that impactful. And it seems like it's the overall market. Like, if the markets are really hot, then people are more excited about them. The markets were a little calmer this week, and I think it was part of why. And maybe also the fact that Golem has been traded for years at high-volume exchanges. But yeah, Binance did Golem.
Over on Cryptopia, they listed Lina.
Lina, okay.
No info there. Coin Exchange listed Revolution VR.
That's a Vox. That's the Vox rebrand.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. They listed Senyo. They listed SyncFab, Vipstar Coin, the Kyber Network, Spank Chain, Power Ledger, Substratum, and Crypto Nation Z.
Right. Nice to know Spank Chain's finally getting the exposure that it deserves.
Coin Exchange is still just probably listing the widest range of stuff right now.
Do you know, are they a pay to list? I don't know how their process
I guess I don't know offhand what their deal is.
I wonder if they might have a vote.
Probably maybe one. Yeah.
Over on South Exchange, they added Electronic PK Chain, Moncoin, and CRU.
Nice. And over on KuCoin, they listed Doc.
Whatever that is. And then finally, over on Livecoin, they have Phi token, PHI. Cool.
All right. We're going to wrap it up with those coin birthdays.
That's right. Time to close out the show, and we love to close it out with some birthdays.
Yeah. First up is a 1-year birthday for Condensate, ticker RAIN.
That's right. I remember this launch, man. 239 Bitcoin cap still. Where are they chugging away at? Is this Cryptopia? Is this a Cryptopia one?
Definitely on Cryptopia. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but yeah, their first year looks like they're at a 239 BTC cap. So happy birthday there.
Condensate's like an old school coin. It's really similar like to that Slatechain that launched this week.
Yeah, just a community coin, right? Pretty economics based.
I have no idea what the dev direction is at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we don't want to speculate on that. So we'll go over to the 2-year birthdays, where we'll say happy 2-year birthday to Platinum Bar.
Oh man, another old school one. I remember this. This is like a Yobit classic.
Last year's, when they were 1 year old, they were at a 22 Bitcoin cap. And this year they're at a 114 Bitcoin cap.
There might be a little bit of snapshot bias there because I think they just went up. Like if we'd done that a month ago, I don't think they would have that number. But
it's interesting to kind of think Condensate has way more higher Bitcoin cap than this coin does, despite being newer.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Right.
That's how it
last
goes,
year
right?
It just felt like people were buying a lot of new coins, like maybe more interested in new coins than old coins. I don't know.
If I was going to try and explain that, I'd say that Condensate is a Cryptopia mainly coin, and Platinum Bar is a Yobit mainly coin, and 2017 was better for Cryptopia than Yobit.
And so then happy birthday to Platinum Bar, and then happy birthday to GPU Coin, who I think rebranded or something recently. But last year they were...
Oh my God, look at these numbers.
Last year they were at a 10 Bitcoin market cap, and this year they're at a 174 Bitcoin market cap.
Holy crap, dude. Look at these coins are flying, man.
Yeah, it's been good for altcoins last year or two. So happy birthday to all 3 of those coins.
And congratulations to Condensate on a 1 year, and we got Platinum Bar and GPU Coin on 2-year birthdays. Congratulations to those blockchains.
Feel free to send birthdays into us if you got them.
It's true.
And that's going to do it for the show.
There you have it. I want to thank everyone for chilling with us here at Blockchain Dynamics. Once again, a big congratulations to the trivia winner there. The answer to the question was Byteball.
Yep. This has been Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 92. And we'll see you next week with heavier bags. Bye.
Currency. A couple Bitcoins. Money. Hold up on my Nakamoto.